Hi. Thank you for coming to class. I am super happy to be here always with you. Teaching virtually like this has been really a new experience, and literally I leave gallery view up actually, and I have to pin it, but I still have all your faces at the bottom of the screen so I can see you. And it's so important for us to still connect in this way. And I really am thinking about you while I'm practicing here, because otherwise it feels like I'm just like a person practicing yoga out loud in a quiet room. So we really are here all together in respective places. I wanted to theme class, and actually I'm starting a project. Really, it's kind of a project because I want to go through all of the sutras, and this is the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. I actually started on Tuesday, and I just kind of broke down the basics of this text. And there's over 200 sutras in this text. The word sutra actually means thread, and the sutras themselves are very short, but then there's often like a long explanation explaining each one. And they were written anywhere between 5000 BC and 300 AD. And it's really a science of the mind. Like, this gets into the philosophy of the practice of yoga, which is absolutely what we are practicing. And some of them you might be familiar with, and I know some of them I'm not familiar with. So I'm excited to really get all the way through this text. The first section is the portion on contemplation, Samadhi Pada, which gives the theory of yoga and a description of the most advanced stages of the practice of samadhi, which is a word that I've come to understand as absorption. And the first sutra, and you've probably heard this one. This one is Atta Yoga Nushasanam. And Atta means now. Yoga is often translated as unity. And Nushasanam is supposed to be exposition or instruction. And so it's like right now we are learning to practice yoga. And I like to think of this one as also a transition. Like, we did our whole lives and we found yoga one way or another. And so now we are starting this practice. And success will come with this practice. Or it can also be translated as is time for yoga. So practice, and that first one, I mean, you can come back to it again and again. It really is a good place to return to. And I'm going to leave it at that. That's kind of one of the shorter ones. And we'll go ahead and get started in child's pose, balasana, bringing the soles of the feet to touch. And arms can go out long in front of you. And I want to give the option today, if you would like, to bring the palms to touch and then let them fall back behind you so they're touching kind of the nape of the neck. This might feel interesting for you in the shoulders. It's just an option. You definitely don't have to do that. If you prefer to extend the arms out long in front, or you want to bring the knees to touch, extend the arms behind you, that's a really great way to start your practice as well. Taking a few moments to take in your external environment. And a lot of us have spent a lot of times in the current environment that we are in. And so now this space is your yoga space. And there may be a lot more distractions in this space than you would have in a studio. Someone might start doing the dishes or take out the recycling during your practice, and that might be loud, but it's also great getting chores done, right? But it can be distracting. So knowing that those distractions are going to arise, the bus might go by, you might hear sirens, but this is still your yoga practice, and using those distractions as an opportunity to come back to the practice. And after you've taken in the external, arriving at the breath, and just noticing the breath. It's really awesome. We don't have to think about every time we breathe, thank God. It's part of the autonomic nervous system. But right now, you can also choose to send your awareness there. So noticing the inflation of the belly and the ribs, the diaphragm, the expansion. And then also noticing the release, the exhale, the emptying sensation. And I also tend to follow the moon cycles. And right now we are in the waning moon. And the waning moon is associated with the exhale and releasing, kind of clearing, cutting cords, all that kind of stuff. So if you want to focus on the exhale during this practice, the letting go, you're more than welcome to invite that in as well. And then after the breath, we arrive at the mind. And the mind's a busy place. And that's great. It helps us get stuff done. I love to be in check with my ego and just noticing what's going on, how I'm narrating my day, what's the tone that I've put to my life. It's a really practical tool. But really using this hour as an opportunity to practice awareness and being at attention and joining in the practice of yoga now. And it is a practice. It is a process. It's not a place where you become these perfect molds of these postures. And I know as a beginner and for years, I really thought that's what yoga was. And it was such a relief and breath of fresh air to find also the philosophy behind it as well. So inviting that into your practice. At this point in class, I usually leave space for consent. And of course, I can't go and give an assist during this practice. But you can opt to take different variations of the posture, empowering yourself, giving yourself the inner authority and agency to do that. And also giving yourself your own deepening assists. Sometimes in a twist, it can be really helpful to spin the ribs, right rib over, left rib under. So knowing this is your practice and always using your body as your own best guide. And then lastly, we'll engage the ujjayi breath, the upward victorious breath, gentle constriction, back of the throat. Inhale in through the nose. And exhale, HA out of the mouth. Inhale in through the nose. And exhale, HA. This time, seal the lips. Inhale in through the nose. And exhale out through the nose. And if there's any point in class where you want to come back to child's pose and rekindle your breath, just reconnect with the inhales and the exhales, that concentration practice. It's a beautiful way to practice yoga. It is one of the limbs talked about in this path of Patanjali. So validating that choice. And gently over the next few breaths, pressing up into a tabletop, stacking the shoulders over the wrists, the hips, over the knees, and taking your time getting there, taking any little side paths on the way that might be of interest to you. May not be a very direct route. And then arriving in a tabletop, hips over the knees, shoulders over the wrists, and finding a sense of spinal neutrality. Crown of the head is forward, tailbone is back. And we'll flow through flexion and extension of the spine. Inhale, cow pose, drop the belly, lift the gaze. And exhale, cat pose, rounding, pressing the palms into the mat, tucking the chin, tucking the belly. Inhale, cow pose, tail up, chest up, maybe even look up. And exhale, cat, tucking, rounding, pressing the palms into the mat. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cats. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cats. Inhale, tuck under the back toes. And exhale, come back to downward facing dog. Press back, you can paddle one foot, the other foot. Walking the dog. And then sending some awareness into the palms of your hands, each little knuckle mound, especially the index finger and the thumb. And inhale, come onto your tippy toes. And exhale, bend your knees a lot. So tailbone feels like it's really poking up towards the ceiling. You can feel the lengthening of the vertebrae, and you're actively pressing the palms into the mat and scanning that lengthening sensation that's going on in the vertebrae. And then slowly releasing the heels down, maybe straightening the legs, but also maybe leaving a little bend in the knees. And coming back to the Ujjayi breath, inhale in through the nose. And exhale out through the nose. Inhale, look to the front. And exhale, move there for a ragdoll. Uttanasana, slowly walk your way up to the top of the mat. Feet are hips width distance. And you can still bend one knee, the other knee. You can grasp for opposite elbow here. You can interweave the fingers at the nape of your neck. You can also interweave the fingers near the base of the spine, going for a shoulder expansion. Just noticing where it's going to be the most interesting for you. Inviting a sway into the torso. Noticing the subtle movements. And also sending the awareness to the lower back, the lumbar spine, where you're folding. And if you haven't started the playlist already, you can go ahead and tap play on whatever device you're using. I'm gonna have my volume on super low. Whoop. And then choose your feet for sun salutations. You can toe heel the feet to touch, or you can leave a little distance in between the feet if you're looking for more structure and groundedness in your practice today. And vertebrae by vertebrae, unfurl the spine. Moving slowly and with intention. And coming to standing. When you arrive at the top, it might feel good to roll the shoulders back a few times. And arriving at Samastiti, same or equal on all sides standing posture. Bring the palms to touch at heart center, or you can keep the arms at your sides. But tuning into where you find equilibrium in your body. And with that idea of sutra, there are these threads that are all woven together. I took a class in New York, and they talked about this golden thread coming in through the crown of the head and going all the way down the spine and coming out the perineum, touching the earth. And you can imagine that as the little axis that you're always orbiting on. Or as a rope. It's kind of a beautiful image. It's hard to let go of, and it's okay. It can be there. You don't have to grasp or have an aversion to it. It can be there, and it can follow you throughout your practice. And at this point in class, I like to leave space for setting intention. And your intention can be to be at attention throughout this whole practice, to practice this present tense, non-judgmental awareness, inquisitive, curious practice. Or it can be an I am or an I have statement. And it can be set in the present tense. And coming back to the idea that we are in the waning part of the moon cycle. So the next big part is the new moon. And oftentimes that's where people will set a new intention. So it's a good time to kind of reflect and maybe ponder what you would like to be the intention you set over the next few days. Maybe try on a few different hats, see if that's something that you would like to invite in over the next month. Inhale, breathe in that idea. And exhale, release it out. You can keep the eyes closed if you're working on interiority, or you can flutter the eyes open. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, arms up, circle sweep the arms up overhead. And pause here. Pressing the feet actively into the mat and accessing the arches of your feet and engaging the legs. And this might create a gentle lift in the kneecaps. You can also engage the bandhas here, Mula Bandha and also Uddiyana Bandha. Mula Bandha is contraction of the pelvic floor. And Uddiyana Bandha is bringing the belly button back towards the ribs. Relaxing the shoulders. Inhale, find length. And exhale, standing open twist towards the right. Left fingertips forward, right fingertips back. And just noticing if you've twisted the whole chest with your body or if you're trying to level the hips back towards center. And neither is more correct, but just noticing which one that you did. And from here, we're going to do a little work into the shoulders. Kind of imagine doing a backstroke. So creating these circles with your right arm. And you can try moving forward. I like to think of this as kind of the scorpion dog of the arm. We always focus, or I tend to over focus on my hips. So bringing some attention to this ball and socket joint to your shoulders. And then arriving back at that open twist. Inhale, come back to center. And exhale, standing open twist towards the left. Broadening through the collarbones. Then we'll do that same backstroke motion with the left arm this time. Giving the shoulder an opportunity to wake up. This always reminds me of fascia, actually. And some of you are familiar with the Practice School of Magic. It's where I did my yoga teacher training, and some of you have as well. But we watched these videos by Gil Headley, who's really famous for kind of discovering fascia, and he did a lot of studying with cadavers. But he talks about it as fuzz, and I feel like when we're doing this motion right now, we're kind of clearing away the fuzz from the night before. Maybe not all of it has built up over time, but just opening things up. Inhale, come back to center. And exhale, cactus the arms, baby back bend, shine the sternum up. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, forward fold, hinge at the hips. Inhale, halfway lift, reset your spine. Exhale, top of a push-up, Dandasana, staff pose. Always option to come down to the knees for more groundedness and structure in your practice. It's also a really good way to build arm strength for chaturangas. Inhale, shift forward. And exhale, lower all the way down to the belly. Flatten the tops of the feet to the mat and zip the legs together like you have one long cobra tail. And keep the arms at your sides, grazing the ribs. Inhale, cobra pose. Bhujangasana, lift your head, neck, and chest. And exhale, lower back down. Inhale, cobra pose, pressing the tops of the feet into the mat, top of the thighs, lifting the chest. And exhale, lower back down. Inhale, cobra pose. Exhale, lower. Inhale, tabletop. And exhale, press back. Downward facing dog, hips high, heels low. And bending one knee, the other knee. Inhale, look to the front. And exhale, move there, forward folds. Inhale, halfway lift, reset your spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, rise with your breath. Exhale, standing open twist towards the right. Left fingertips forward, right fingertips back. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, arms up. Exhale, standing open twist left. Inhale, arms back up. Exhale, cactus the arms, baby back bend. Maybe even tilt the head back. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold, hinge at the hips. Inhale, halfway lift, reset the spine. You can have a bend in the knees. Exhale, press back, top of a push-up, Dandasana pose. Always option again to come down to the knees. Really actively pressing the palms into your mat. Imagining that line of energy coming in through the crown of head, just like in Samasthiti. I'm going to go ahead and cue us through a traditional chaturanga vinyasa flow. And you can go ahead and try that on right now and then switch it up after if you'd like. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, lower down halfway, chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog, pressing the tops of the feet into the mat. Legs are hovering, heart is shining up. Maybe even the head is tilted back. Exhale, press back. Downward facing dog, hips high, heels low. And there's so many good ways to do your version of vinyasa flow. You can do the cobra to table to down dog. And I never want to undersell cobra. Cobra is a super active and interesting posture. You can also practice from your knees, have the knees down. You can hang out in forearm plank. Maybe you're working on building forearm strength. You can do like a dolphin dog. You can, which is this kind of thing. You can skip them. I'm actually going to be skipping them just to kind of save my breath and keep me on focus for teaching. So you're welcome to join me and skip them all together, but really using, again, your body as your own best guide. Coming back to the breath. Inhale, Ujjayi. Exhale, Ujjayi. Inhale, look to the front. Exhale, move there, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, reset your spine. Exhale, hinge. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, rise with the breath. Exhale, standing open twist towards the right, left fingertips forward, right back. Inhale, come back to center, arms up. Exhale, standing open twist towards the left. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, cactus the arms, baby back bend. Send the heart up. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold, hinge at the hips. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen the vertebrae. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog, cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Hips high and heels low. Returning back to the practice. If the mind has wandered, that's gonna happen. That's normal. So just acknowledging that and beginning again, coming back to the practice of yoga. And it really is a science of the mind, a tool to use for introspection and listening and receptivity. Inhale, look to the front. Exhale, move there, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen the vertebrae. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, Utkatasana, fierce pose, awkward chair. Sink the weight into the hips, sink the weight into the heels, really plugging the heels down. The tail can absolutely flare here. There's also a gentle back bend going on here. You can really feel the curvature of the lower back, the lordotic curve. Sternum is shining up. Hands can be at heart center. Arms can be out long in front of you. You can even have the arms behind you if that feels interesting. And this is a squat. And it's powerful, and it's fierce, and it's intense. And the longer I'm here, the more my mind is like, what are you doing? Let's get out of here. And that's normal. That's part of this practice. But part of what we're doing in yoga is turning towards the intensity and being with it, and knowing that it's also impermanent. Inhale, one breath here. And exhale, release. Let that go. Forward fold. And pause here. We're actually going to take a little interim here and work into the hips briefly. So sinking the booty back onto the mats and coming to laying on your backs. And then we're gonna practice figure 4. So we'll plant the feet on the ground and walk the heels towards the booty. And then bring right ankle on top of left thigh. This is a good place to be. This might be enough of a practice of external rotation of the hip, or option to thread the fingers behind the lower thigh or on top of the shin. Or perhaps you want to press the right elbow into the inside seam of your right leg. So just finding a degree that is going to be interesting to you. If there's a wall close to you, you can even press the left foot into the wall. That might make things more interesting. And waking up the hips just like we did the shoulders. If you've threaded the fingers around the left leg, go ahead and plant the left foot down, plant the right foot down. And we'll practice on the other side. Bring left ankle on top of right thigh. This is a good place to be. Maybe you want to plant the right foot on the wall. Maybe you want to thread the fingers behind the thigh or on top of the shin. or press the left arm actively into the inside seam of the left leg. And this changes. So right now I'm preferring to pull the inside seam of my thigh, but for the past few months I preferred on top of my shin. So it's gonna really change day to day, and dropping the expectation that it has to be the same, or if it has to fit a mold even that you've created for yourself. Non-judging and non-comparing. And then release any grip that you've chosen. Plant the right foot down, plant the left foot down. And bring the knees in towards the chest. And rock and roll up into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen the vertebrae. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog, hips high and heels low. And paddle through the feet. And come back to the breath. Inhale in through the nose. Exhale out through the nose. Inhale, right leg lifts. Reach, extend the right leg behind you. Exhale, scorpion dog. Bend the right knee, right hip stacks on top of the left hip. And then send the awareness back to the palms of your hands. Trying to distribute the weight evenly there. You can take some circles in the hip sockets, maybe in the ankle. Noticing the range of motion in the hip socket. Inhale, three-legged dog, reach, extend. Exhale, step it through, low lunge. Feet are on separate tracks. Taking a moment to feel grounded. Sometimes you have to pick up the foot to get it up there, and that's totally okay. And then drop the back knee down to the mat, coming to this grounded form of crescent. We're gonna work our way into lizard's lunge or runner's lunge. Toe heel the right foot to the outside edge of your mat. And both hands are on the inside seam of your right leg. And oftentimes here, I give a lot of options. People will often walk the forearms forward, which you are welcome to do. I want to give the option today and kind of encourage it if it's accessible to you. With the right hand and arm, threading that behind the right ankle, and so it comes out on the knife side edge of your right foot. And then arriving here, and maybe it's interesting for you today to experiment with bringing the right shoulder under where the knee creases, the back side of the knee, or just experimenting with the range of motion in the hip here. This doesn't really feel interesting or accessible. Of course, there's always the option to walk the forearms forward, let the head hang. You can rest in the forearms, let the head hang. Always being curious. And toe heel the foot back to center. So hands frame the front foot. Inhale, tuck under the back toe. Exhale, engage the back leg. Inhale, crescent lunge, Anjaneyasana, arms up, chest lifts. And this is the first time we've been here. So pressing the ball mound of the back foot into the mat, and maybe even trying to imagine the back heel pushing towards the front of the room, so really engaging the whole arch of the foot. You can pick up the front toes, plant them back down. Right thigh bone is going back into the right hip socket. This might bump the left hip forward. It might even invite you to create some distance in between the feet to find more structure. Inhale, find length. Exhale, open up, warrior two, Virabhadrasana, spin the back heel down 40, 60 degrees. Right knee is tracking towards the outside edge of your pinky toe. And this is intense. There's a lot going on in the lower half of your body, but also trying to thread the awareness to the upper half. So this is grounding down. This is lifting up, flipping the palms up, flipping them back down. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Exhale, triangle pose, Trikonasana. Bump the hips back, right arm down, left arm up. And taking a moment to arrive. It's always okay to have a little bend in the front knee, especially if you're hypermobile in your limbs. And this is a really twist and turn sensation going on in the chest here. So this could be an opportunity you could use to self-assist, noticing the left ribs over, right ribs under, just by placing the hands right around your waist. Inhale, palms touch overhead, high pyramid. You can even clap them together. And exhale, open back up, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior, peaceful warrior, left arm down, right arm up, stretching through the side body, the obliques. Maybe feeling the floating ribs right here, peeling away from the pelvis. Deep bend in the front knee. Inhale here. Exhale, cartwheel your arms and flow your version of high to low or skip it. And we'll meet back in downward facing dog. Inhale, Ujjayi. Exhale, Ujjayi. Inhale, Ujjayi. Exhale, Ujjayi. Inhale, left leg lifts. Reach, extend the left leg behind you. Exhale, scorpion dog. Bend the knee, left hip stacks on top of the right. You can take some counterclockwise or clockwise motion with the ankle or the hip. Whatever feels organic, natural in your practice. Inhale, three-legged dog. Reach, extend. Exhale, step it through, low lunge. Feet are on separate tracks. Feel grounded. Then go ahead and bring the back knee down to the mat. And we'll work into lizards or runner's lunge on this side. Toe heel the left foot to the outside edge of your mat. Bring both hands into the inside seam of your left leg. So option to take this a lot of different ways. Just being here is honestly enough. Validate that. Or option to walk the forearms forward, hang the head. Or today, experimenting with this time threading the left hand and arm behind the left calf muscle and then planting the left hand on the outside edge of the left foot. Experimenting if the shoulder can get under where the knee bends. Maybe inviting some micro movements, little circles. The foot was at 12 o'clock. Maybe you want to move it towards like 10 or 11. Knowing there's no right way to do this. Just accessing the range of motion in your hip socket. That's the intention. Toe heel the foot back towards center. Unbind the hand if you had it. So the hands are framing the front foot. Inhale, tuck under the back toes. Exhale, engage the back leg. Inhale, crescent lunge, Anjaneyasana, arms up, chest lifts. And arriving for the first time on this side. And activating the arch in the back of the foot. Maybe trying to access the arch in the front of the foot as well. You can engage the bandhas, Uddiyana and Mula Bandha. Relaxing the shoulders here. Finding Samastiti in the legs. Inhale, arms up. Maybe look up. Exhale, open up, warrior two. Virabhadrasana, open up through the body. Spin the back heel down. Maybe gazes over the middle finger. And on this side, tapping into the emotional qualities, the energetic qualities of a warrior. Similar to Utkatasana, it's fierce, it's powerful. Is there an archetype or an icon that you think embody these qualities, and can you invite that into your practice? Inhale, straighten the front leg. Exhale, triangle pose. Bump the hips back, left arm down, right arm up. Right ribs over, left ribs under. And it's never important for the left hand to touch the ground here. Definitely more about this revolving and opening sensation. Inhale, palms overhead. Maybe even clap the hands together, high pyramid. Exhale, open up, back up, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior, peaceful warrior, right arm down, left arm up. Stretching through the side body, keeping a deep bend in the front knee. And exhale, cartwheel the arms. And flow your version of high to low. And we'll meet back in downward facing dog. Inhale, Ujjayi. Exhale, Ujjayi. Inhale, look to the front of your mat. Exhale, move there, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, reset your spine. Exhale, hinge at the hips, dive down. Inhale, Utkatasana, fierce pose, awkward chair. Sink the weight into your hips, your heels, find length. And exhale, release, forward fold, and pause. And bring the feet a little wider than hips width distance. We're gonna meet in a Malasana squat. And bringing the hands to touch at heart center. And the heels definitely don't have to be rooted on the ground here. And sometimes creating a little bit more distance in between the feet helps access the intention of this posture. An option to be here, this is a good place to stay, or I'm going to invite some twisting into the practice. So plant the right palm. Actually, I'm going to mirror you. So plant the right palm. So it's really actively pressing into the inside seam of your left leg. And then send the left fingertips up towards the ceiling. Then go ahead and plant the left palm and actively pressing the arm and the leg into each other. And then send the right fingertips up towards the ceiling, twisting, using that point of contact to leverage the twist. And then flow breath to movement. Plant the right palm. Inhale, open. Plant the left palm. Inhale, open. And we'll do that twice more on each side, flowing your own breath to movement. And when you've completed that, you can come and meet with hands at heart center again in this Malasana squat. And plant the palms, toe heel the feet back towards center. Inhale, halfway lift, reset the spine. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog, hips high, heels low. And coming back to your individual process, honoring that, but also honoring everyone that you're doing this practice with. At the same time, we are still sharing a practice, even if it's through the internet and through the connection of our own homes. Inhale, Ujjayi. Exhale, Ujjayi. Inhale, right leg lifts. Reach, extend the right leg behind you. Exhale, step it through, low lunge. Drop the back knee down to the mat. And we're gonna practice lizard's lunge again. Toe heel the right foot to the outside edge of your mat. Both hands are on the inside seam of your right leg. And we're not gonna be here for super long. Inhale, Ujjayi. Exhale, Ujjayi. Toe heel the foot back towards center. So hands frame the front foot. Inhale, tuck under the toes. Exhale, engage the back leg. Inhale, crescent lunge, Anjaneyasana, arms up. Exhale, open up, warrior two, Virabhadrasana. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Exhale, Trikonasana, triangle pose, right arm down, left arm up. Inhale, high pyramid, palms touch. Exhale, open up, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior, peaceful warrior, stretching through the side body. Exhale, cartwheel your arms, and flow. Your version of high to low. And we'll meet back in downward facing dog. Inhale, Ujjayi. Exhale, Ujjayi. Inhale, left leg lifts. Reach, extend the left leg behind you. Exhale, step it through, low lunge. Feet are on separate tracks. Go ahead and drop the back knee down to the mat. And we're gonna work into lizard or runners. Toe heel the left foot to the outside edge of your mat. Both hands on the inside seam. We'll be here for one Ujjayi breath. Inhale in. Exhale out. Inhale, toe hook. Toe heel the foot back towards center. Frame the front foot. Inhale, tuck under your back toes. Exhale, engage the back leg. Inhale, crescent lunge, Anjaneyasana, arms up, chest lifts. Exhale, open up, warrior two, Virabhadrasana. Inhale, straighten your front leg. Exhale, Trikonasana, triangle pose, left arm down, right arm up. Inhale, high pyramid, palms touch. Exhale, open up, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior, peaceful warrior. Exhale, cartwheel your arms and flow your version of high to low. And we'll meet back in downward facing dog. Inhale, Ujjayi. Exhale, Ujjayi. Inhale, Ujjayi. And exhale, Ujjayi. And go ahead and come down to a seat, taking any moment for self-care. Might want to grab a sip of water, or if you have to use the restroom, fidget with your clothes. I actually forgot my water bottle. I'm going to go grab a sip of water from the sink in the bathroom. And if you've had enough time with your self-care, we'll meet back in a child's pose. Arms stretched out long in front of you. And taking a moment to come back to intention. Come back to the breath. How has the practice changed? How has the mind changed? How has it remained the same? And begin again. This is a practice of yoga. Hatha Yoga Anushasana. And come into a tabletop. And we'll move back in downward facing dog, hips high, heels low. We're gonna go ahead and flow that through one more time. I'm gonna cut out a few things though. Inhale, look to the front. Exhale, move there, forward fold. Inhale, Utkatasana, fierce pose, awkward chair. Exhale, forward fold, hinge at the hips. Inhale, halfway lift, reset the spine, lengthen the vertebrae. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog, hips high, heels low. Inhale, right leg lifts, reach, extend the right leg behind you. Exhale, step it through, low lunge. Take a moment to feel rooted and grounded. Inhale, crescent lunge, Anjaneyasana, arms up. Exhale, open up, warrior two, Virabhadrasana. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Exhale, Trikonasana, triangle pose, right arm down, left arm up. Inhale, high pyramid, palms touch. Exhale, open back up, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior, peaceful warrior. Exhale, cartwheel your arms. Flow your version of high to low. We'll meet back in downward facing dog. Inhale, Ujjayi. Exhale, Ujjayi. Inhale, Ujjayi. And exhale, Ujjayi. Inhale, left leg lifts. Reach, extend the left leg behind. Exhale, step it through, low lunge. Feet are on separate tracks. Feeling grounded in your posture. Inhale, crescent lunge, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, open up, warrior two, Virabhadrasana. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Exhale, Trikonasana, triangle pose, left arm down, right arm up. Inhale, palms touch overhead, high pyramid. Exhale, open back up, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior, peaceful warrior, stretching through the side body. Exhale, cartwheel your arms. And flow your version of high to low. We'll meet back in downward facing dog. And if everybody wants to come down to a seat. And so we have been working a lot into our hips. I incorporated a lot of extra hip stuff into Sun B, so it was a little lengthier than usual. And the intention here is so we can practice ashtavakrasana. And I want to say before we get into it that it's wildly not important to be able to do this posture. And also, like the first few times I tried to do, more than the first few times, the first like 100 times I tried to do crow or side crow or ashtavakrasana, there was a moment of me just being like, what the fuck, and just kind of trying to do it in my body. And so if that's you today, know that that is doing the posture and you're kind of like prepping the neural pathways for the future. And also remembering that like none of these postures are they're not gonna change the election results. It's not gonna end the pandemic. So if it did, we'd be doing them all the time. So we'll meet in a seat and we're gonna do what a lot of teachers call like rocking the baby. So with your hands, kind of take the right leg, the whole right leg, in between the right and the left arms. You're kind of cradling it. You can imagine, you don't have to imagine anything. Maybe it's like a little ET. That's kind of cute. And this is such a soothing thing to do. Like if you want to self-soothe and just hang out here, this is a beautiful place to be in your practice. But I am going to present some other layers if you want to try them on. So the next layer is often called backpacking. So bringing the right leg up and behind you over the shoulder. And we actually were already here when we were in lizard's lunge. If you tried on that layer where the top of your shoulder was meeting the under part of your knee, we're just sitting up now. And it's really important to actively press the legs together. You're giving it like a little squeeze. That's going to help get into the shape if you're trying to go there. And the next step, if you want to try on this layer, is planting both palms by your side, on either side. And my butt is still rooted on the ground. I'm going to wrap my ankles next. So you can put left ankle up and over the right. So this is a good place to be. It's kind of fun, like hanging out. The next step is going to be creating a shelf with my chaturanga arms, and I'm going to kind of shoot my legs towards the left. The right arm is going to be resting below my right thigh. That's going to be one of the main shelves that I'm using for my body. So shifting the weight here. Ooh, and look, I fell. So I'm going to go ahead and get back into it. Maybe you didn't fall. So I'm going to backpack the right leg over the left. Plant the palms back down. Left leg up and over the right. And then I'm going to plant my left cheek, kind of get myself set up. And this is a good place to just take this into your body. Or maybe today you kind of straighten the legs, lift the cheek off the mat, and actively kind of float here like, whoa. And then you can let all of that go. And maybe that is like enough. And you just want to come back to cradling that foot. It's good. And let's go ahead and try the left side all together. And this is by no means like easy, and it's super challenging for me as well. I'm like already bracing myself for the other side. And so coming to the left, cradling the left foot. I do kind of like the imaginary ET, so sticking with it. And then moving on to the next layer. And the left side is harder for me. This might be your stronger side. But giving it a go, backpacking, bringing the left leg and really actively squeezing it together. I've got this cord here. Taking a moment to observe that sensation. Remember, we've already been here for lizards. And then planting the palms on either side of you. This time, right leg up and over the left. And then going for ashtavakrasana on this side, shelfing. Bringing the right cheek to the mat first. Maybe straightening the legs. And then maybe lifting up, actively hovering. Maybe you get a float. And then letting go as gracefully or as cumbersome as you'd like to release yourself. And then we'll meet in a hero's pose. Sinking the hips over your heels. Whew. Finding length in the spine. Noticing the beat of your heart. You can shut down the eyes. And after doing something really intense like that, it's easy for the mind to get like, oh my God, like, how did I do? Like, the mind can be super active. And like knowing that that's not what we're practicing here. We're not practicing getting ourselves into pretzel shapes. That is like not a priority. The priority is of the mind and this discipline, like after doing something like wild and chaotic, this moment right now, how do we return to calm? How do we return to neutrality? How can I be with myself? And that is what's going to strengthen the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest response, and in hopes that when we are in chaos in the world, we can also turn towards that with a response instead of a reaction. So much easier said than done. Coming back to the breath, Ujjayi, Ujjayi. And we'll practice one forward fold, extending the legs out long in front of you, removing the glutes out from underneath you, coming to sit on the sits bones or the ischial tuberosities. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, fold forward. Pelvic bowl is tilted down. If you're craving more of that yang intensity, you can bend the knees, you can grab for the feet, flex the toes, maybe pull on the arms. If you're ready to tap into the more yin lunar qualities, rest, regeneration, yielding, go ahead and do that. Just let the head hang, the spine can round. Vertebrae by vertebrae, unfurl your spine. And come to laying on your back. Meet in Supta Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet to touch. One hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. And there can be a lot of distance in between the pelvis and the feet. Noticing the beat of the heart and the stomach. Relaxing your jaw, relaxing your forehead, relaxing your belly. And hug the knees in towards your chest. Give them a good squeeze. And we're going to seal clasp with a spinal twist. Extend the left leg out long and keep the right knee hugged in towards your chest. Knee is heading towards your armpit here. You can do some circles in the ankle right, circles in the ankle left. An option today to go for eagle legs if that's interesting to you, or otherwise with the left hand, guide the right leg over towards the left. Bending the right arm out like half of a T. Gaze can go towards your fingertips, gaze can be up. You wanted to try the eagle legs. The right leg would go up and over the left, and perhaps the right shin would even come behind the left calf muscle before letting them drop. But also just another layer if you're interested. And releasing here. Any residual anxiety, trying to let that fall out of the frame of your consciousness. You can like imagine kind of flicking it away. And coming back to awareness, noticing. You are not this body, you are the awareness of this body. You are not your emotions. Fleeting feelings are temporary. You are the awareness of your emotions. You are the awareness of the mind, what it thinks. And bring the legs back towards center. If you've bound them up, you can go ahead and unthread. This time, send the right leg out. Hug the left knee in towards your chest. Give it a squeeze. Feel the compression. You can roll the ankle one way, the other way. An option to take a gentle supine twist with the right hand. Grab the left leg. Guide it towards the right. Left arm can go out like half of a T. Gaze can be up. It can be towards your left fingertips. Also option to do the bind. This left leg would go up and over right. left shin would go behind right calf muscle, either or. And the gaze here really isn't of utmost importance. It's more important to have a relaxed jaw, a relaxed belly, a neck that doesn't feel strained. How can you invite a sense of ease into your practice right now? And if you've threaded the legs, unthread them and hug both knees in towards your chest. For Apanasana, it's kind of a cannonball shape, bringing the forehead to meet the knees, embracing the top of the shins, and perhaps embracing a new quality that you might be inviting into your life. Inhale, breathe that in. And exhale, release into Shavasana, final rest, extending the limbs long. You might prefer to come onto your belly. You might prefer to take it in a fetal position. Maybe there's a blanket you want to drape over you. And we'll be here for a couple of minutes. And I will guide you up and out of the practice. And when the mind wanders, especially at the end of class, it's easy to start planning. I'm a big planner and I'm a big fantasizer. I know we all know our habitual loops. Some people, they're warriors or they brood about the past. Neither is better, but that is where the mind is probably going to go. So when you notice that, that's the meditation practice. That is the yoga, working to bring that back to right now. You're still in this class. Give yourself the last couple minutes to be here. Maybe the mind wandered. Let it come back. Begin again. And extend the arms above you like you would, stretching in the morning. And hug the knees in towards your chest. And choose if you'd like to roll over onto the right for more active, more solar qualities, or the left for more lunar, receptive qualities. Use the bicep like a pillow, coming into a fetal position and honoring your practice. May it begin again and again. May it be a study that you can return to again and again. And knowing it doesn't have to look a certain way, it's going to unfold for everyone differently. Hatha Yoga Nushasanam. And honoring your experiences, teachers. I always like to honor my teachers who have taught me. I'm always peppering in their wisdom throughout my classes to share it with you. Honoring the lineage of this practice going all the way back to India to like 300 AD when the sutras were originally written down, practice with student and teacher. And also honoring the territory that we occupy, the Duwamish people. You can gently press yourself up to a seat. You can keep the eyes closed. And we'll meet with hands at heart center in the Anjali Mudra. This represents non-dualism, the coming together of the yin and the yang, the solar and the lunar, positive and the negative. It's like two magnets being together at the heart center. And then bringing hands from heart center to third eye, the seat of your intuition and imagination. And bowing forward to seal in practice, honoring the whole self, both the light and the dark qualities. And I am going to unplug my mic and unmute you all and invite us to close class with an Om. It's fun for me to be able to hear you all. And so nobody feels like I'm